and welcome everybody to day 2 of the Scrapbooking Fun Summit with our third Q&A. And we're excited to have Sarah representing Carina Gardner. I hope I pronounced her name right.
Yes. Yep.
Welcome. If you're with us live, say hi as people are going to be coming on. If you're listening to the replay, hashtag replay, and we will come back and circle back and answer your questions. Karina has a post in the group. So Sarah has a post in the group. If you have any specific questions about her project, you can put comments on that and we can circle back and do that as well. And so we'll just get going. People will join as they join. That's what happens. Hello, everyone. And ask any questions you have in the comments. We will do our best to answer them. And we're just going to get started. So I'm going to switch us around a little bit here. Maybe. There we go. Technology. There. So Sarah, give us a little bit about Karina and yourself. So tell us a little about where you are in the world and how you got into paper crafting, or how she got into paper crafting and the business model. Go ahead.
Okay. Awesome. I'm really excited to be with you today. I work for Carina Gardner. I'm her marketing lead. She is actually in Japan right now with her family, having an incredible time. So that's why I'm here and why she's not here. So a little bit about Karina. She actually got a PhD in graphic design from the University of Minnesota. I think like 16 years ago. So and it's rare, I think, to get a PhD in graphic design. So she taught at the university for a little bit, and then she expanded her business. She worked for Cartabella. She's had children's, clothing and accessory company called Miniloo. Currently, she is running a program called Design Suite. It's for designers that want to take their business to the next level. So she teaches a little bit about graphic design and then how you can have a business as a graphic designer. The other thing that she did, she creates designs for Silhouette Design Store. And that's actually where her and I met. So I personally worked for Silhouette for 8 years in their marketing departments. And then I actually went to Sawgrass and worked for them for a couple of years before I started with Karina. So I've been with Karina for the last year, but I've known Karina for almost 10 years. We've worked together on I was at different companies and she was doing different things, but she's an incredible teacher and designer, and I love what she does, and I love working with her. So I'm excited to be here with you today.
Oh, that is awesome. And awesome that one of the things that we had in our first 2 summits is we got lots of requests for people who understood or did Silhouette. So more people with Silhouette in here, and we didn't know that you were one of them. So because there's a lot of we were just talking to someone Michelle Price earlier today, and asked the difference between a Silhouette and a Cricut. And one of her comments was the Silhouette Design Studio just gives more power and more things to it. So
for sure.
Cool. So do you craft yourself?
I do. I am a crafter. Yes. So I do all kinds. I do sublimation and I do paper crafting. I love parties. Has always been parties and holidays. It seems like that's what I'm crafting for lately, is just I have 2 grandbabies. So I'm, working on stuff for their birthday parties and, making cake toppers and banners and, lots of fun things like that.
Nice.
Cool. And I love the fact that I am not a scrapbooker. As much as I run a scrapbooking phone summit, I'm not. I'm a crafter. I'm more of a color pencils and stuff like that. But what I'm learning about this world of paper, and Tracy and I have talked about this, it's not just scrapbooking and card making. It's there's just so much more people can do with paper.
Yeah, so true. And there's lots of ways to be crafty and creative, which I think it's awesome. So I think anything whether you sew, whether you paint, whether you design, all of those, scrapbook, all of those things are for creators and makers. And I love when people use that side of their brain, to get creative.
I totally understand. It just, it's fun.
What does Karina's business do today? I mean, helping artists make money off of their business is, I think, amazing, because I've talked to people even through the summit and they're just underselling. And so being able to do things and pivot, I think, is amazing. Does she also create products or?
So she still creates designs for the Silhouette Design Store. So it's a small part. She has thousands of designs already there. She still creates a little bit and puts designs in there. She creates wallpaper. She has wallpaper lines with Raspberry Creek. She does quilts, like quilting patterns. Riley Blake, she just designed another line for them. So she's busy, and then she's CEO of Design Suite, her Design Suite program. So she's busy.
So Heather, maybe the question was, what doesn't she do?
That's exactly.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's all good.
Sounds like it. So just a little review of what she actually did for projects. So I'll share it because you would know. I'll try and share it. Oh, Tracy got big. It's okay, Tracy. You won't stay big.
Karina created me.
There you go. So if you want to give a little overview.
Sure.
It's very cool.
Yes. So Karina, if you haven't watched Karina's class, or maybe you have, she created this Happy Day pop-up card with a little bit of added fringe. She just got the new Silhouette Cameo 5 in the electrostatic matte, which is, Silhouette. It hasn't been on the market too long, maybe a couple months. So she just got the machine and tried it out. She loved the electrostatic matte. So she talks about that a little bit in her class, but she used cardstock and the Happy Day. I think she used some vinyl, but that could be, that you could write happy birthday. You could do, if you like to do calligraphy, you could handwrite that. You could create that with paper. There's lots of different ways that you could change up this card. But I love the pop-up element. When you open it up, it just, the ice cream and popsicles just pop right out at you. And the fringe, I think, makes a really fun touch. So it's an easy card. There's a couple different pieces, but the way that she explained it in her class made it really simple, the way that you put it together.
And could someone design this on a Cricut machine?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So she gives the files, studio files, and SVGs. So if you have a Cricut machine or one of the other cutting machines, then yes, you can download these SVGs and cut yours.
Could someone who doesn't have a machine design at least some of the card with other things?
Yes. Yeah. You could print some of it out and then cut around. There's always ways around things. I think it's a little easier when the cutting machine does the work for you. But with the files, I guess, you could print them out and
to me, I'm a visual, and as everybody watching always knows, I don't use machines, but I see that and it's like, okay, I can. Again, I don't draw well, but I can, do a little something, cut it out and, put it together. Maybe it's not going to be exactly, or it's not going to be as professional looking, we'll say, as professional ice cream. but of course you can.
Yeah. Yes.
And lots of ways to do it. Fussy cutting, or because we had someone yesterday who does printables, and you can cake them out and you can print them and do that. So
so you could print these out. Yeah, absolutely. You could arrange them and print them out. Excellent. And like someone just said, it wouldn't be too hard to fussy cut if you wanted to print it out on your printer.
I love that term, fussy cut. I guess it comes because it is fussy.
Yeah.
And some people like fussy cutting and some people don't like fussy cutting.
Yep.
Excellent. It's very cute.
I'm curious. Sorry, and I'm not going to say away from the card, but it's about this electrostatic matte. What does that do? I have no idea.
I don't have the new machine. I haven't used it yet. So I've just watched Karina do it.
Okay.
I think it just, how your sticky mats tend to wear out, and it just kind of sucks the paper, so it stays on a little bit tighter. You don't have to worry about, because once you lose that stickiness with the mat, sometimes your paper tends to move around, and then then you have to go buy a new mat. So it's just a new way of
like keeping it in place, kind of.
Yes, keeping it in place. But it only works with the Cameo 5 machine. Okay. So if you have older machines, which I I have the rest of them, but I don't have the 5. So I haven't tried it out yet. Maybe someday.
I'll say that's sorry, just because I haven't heard
Yeah.
electrostatic since I sold
Yeah.
old plotters and these huge rolls
Yeah.
of paper. And anyways, I was like, what?
People get to, people learn to take stuff that used to work long ago and reapply it in a different way now,
Right. That's right. Yes.
Well, it makes sense though, because electrostatic would keep something in place.
Yeah.
It makes sense from that perspective. So, what else does Karina offer for the scrapbooking community? So does she have SVG?
Yes. So in the Silhouette Design Store, she has thousands of designs. And one of the nice things about the Silhouette Design Store, if you're a Cricut user or the Juliet or some of the other Brother Scan and Cut, if you have the other machines, you can still go buy those in the Silhouette Design Store and purchase them as an SVG and use those files. So you don't have to use Silhouette's files are studio files. If you see a design file that Karina has designed in the Silhouette Design Store, you can still purchase that and download that to use somewhere else.
Okay.
Which is cool. That's a really good.
Yeah, it is nice. Yes. Yeah.
It makes it easy. What did you guys, I'm just getting to your page. Did you give us a free? I think it's the SVG files. Is that correct?
Yes. So the freebie for everybody, there was 2 different things. She did this summer. It was a fun bundle. I think there was 5 designs. There were 5 SVGs that you could download.
Yes. So we have summer SVG bundle and make art that sells masterclass. There we go.
Yes. So Karina wrote a book. She's wrote 2 books, but her latest book. Actually, I have it right here. I've actually been reading it. So she wrote a book that's called Make Art That Sells, and it's just, it's not a huge book, but she talks about. She goes a little bit into art history and talks about how to create art that actually sells. She does. And so this can be purchased on Amazon, this book, but she created a master class that she just goes over some of the main points in the book. And she, as part of her freebie for everyone, she's giving that class for free. And you just have to use the coupon Make Art to use that code. Otherwise, everyone else purchases the class, but because she's giving this freebie, just use that coupon Make Art.
Okay, excellent.
And you can watch.
And you also have your Happy Day pop-up card files, which is excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
And then even more generous in the VIP. If you are a VIP, there's a discount code for an upcoming class.
Yes. So Karina's teaching a die cut card workshop class, kind of like the card that she taught at this event, the Happy Day pop-up card. She's got tons of different cards that she has created, and she's doing a 3-hour workshop. It happens on June 18th at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, but the class costs $97, and with this coupon code I'm going to give you, you can get it for 50% off. So that one's
not for everyone. That's just for the VIP.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just for the VIP all access pass. Yes.
Yeah. And then, if you aren't a VIP, you have a choice. You can go pay the $99 and get the discount, or you can pay less for our VIP pass and get the discount.
Yes, for sure.
It works. It works. If you're interested in it, it's definitely worth buying the VIP pass, because you would get that plus there's thousands of dollars worth of stuff in there. So if you're interested in that, that's probably your best way to get it, because it'll be a better deal for you. Plus you get all the amazing presentations for at least a year. We never promise lifetime, because I don't know what lifetime is.
I know. No one knows. Yeah.
I know. It's one of those, I don't know why the online and specifically summits promise lifetime, because it's like, what does it mean?
Yeah. Yes.
So we promise at least a year, probably much longer than that, but we give you at least a year to watch the recordings and things like that. And that's part of the VIP. Does anybody have any questions? We know we don't have Karina here, but does anybody have any specific questions that you would like to ask about the project, about the silhouette? Because you got a silhouette past employee here, which is something we didn't know we had hidden.
You have to let us know.
I know. Yeah.
So if you have any questions, there's also a post in the group, and I'll do a quick check and see if anybody put anything on the post. Is there any questions?
There's not a question necessarily. I'm reading one lady. I was amazed at how she used a hot glue gun. How does it not burn her fingers?
Honestly, if you've used a hot glue gun enough, your fingers almost get we're calloused. Where when I've used up my hot glue gun a lot for a lot of projects, yeah, they're almost calloused where you don't, and you kind of learn to use, because I think sometimes you use too much, too much comes out. So you learn, once you use your hot glue gun enough, you kind of learn how to not
burn yourself,
not burn yourself,
feel it, or not feel it.
Yeah.
So she was using the glue gun for all the pieces.
Not all of it, but just some of it. I think.
Okay.
I mean, if you do a lot of paper crafting, you just find that there's just some things that stick better with hot glue. She also uses like an Elmer stick. Everyone has their glue that they love, but some of it she'll just use like an Elmer's glue stick. But some pieces it just works better with a little hot glue gun.
Okay. So yeah, sorry. It's like I've said in other video, I haven't even had the chance to watch the videos myself. And like at some point I'll be like, okay, what was everybody talking about in this one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have VIP access? Do I get to give it to you? I don't know. Yeah. Please. Since it's on your But this is a silhouette question, but how often do they up version their machine? So if they have a new machine out, how often do they do that?
Oh gosh, let's see. So this is their 5th machine. Well, I guess their 5th Cameo, because they had a machine before the Cameo, the Silhouette SD. So it seems like every about, I would say 2 years. Like with COVID, I think that stretched that out. I think they had plans to do a machine, and everything during COVID was, it made everything slower, the process slower. But it seems like I guess I should say like every 2 to 3 years, they try to come out with a new machine.
Cool. Good question. Which, if you're cutting with a Cricut, do you score all those lines like on the fringe?
I think they're scored for you. I think in the design, in the SVG design, I think she's already put scored. I think the scoring line is on there. And watch the class, because she tells you specifically how to do the fringe. I remember watching her do that in the class.
Excellent. And we had a question online, which I think we can, Tracy, are the files for this project the usual? People always have a hard time finding the project. I think it's probably somebody who's in the VIP package, and we haven't added them to the VIP package yet. So we have to add them. Well, no, they are added to that. I'll go fix that later.
I'm writing it down.
I have to catch up with this. You change it on one page, and then you got to change it on another page, and you've got to do that. But if you are the person who asked, they are available now on the page. So we have them all there for people to access, and they might not have, because this was written yesterday, so they might not have been there yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we're getting there. I saw the class, but never heard her mention
scoring. Okay. So maybe they're not, Charlene, maybe they're not scored. Maybe they're, I remember she kind of bended when I watched her, because I know she used the hot glue gun to put on the fringe. And then I think she just kind of tweaked it herself. So, okay. So it's different in Cricut. I know. I don't know Cricut. I don't know their software very well, but
that's why we have a wonderful community of people. So scoring.
That's right. That's right.
Cricut as cut lines have to be converted to scoring lines. It's not hard to do.
Yeah.
So there you go. And somebody said they should be cut lines. So there you go. You learn something new every day.
Thank you.
The community of people who use it. I mean, the Cricut seems to be more popular, but we do get a lot of questions about the silhouette.
Yeah.
And the brother cutting, whatever it is, cutting.
Scan and cut. Yeah.
Not as much for that one, but definitely the silhouette.
Yeah. Like every other new machine, it's like it was the hot item, whatever, a few years ago. And then it's like, what happened there?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So
and everyone has a preference. Everyone likes something different, but they're all great. I mean, I love all the machine, even Caesar came out with a new machine. So it's, it depends on what you like, what machine you prefer. And what software I think that's what it comes down to. When you learn the software, sometimes it's just easier to stick with what you know than to try and go learn something new.
The best piece of advice we had was from Michelle earlier was don't buy it based on the machine because they all just cut.
Yep.
Buy it based on the software platform and your own capabilities. So someone else, Miss Carrie, who's going to be tomorrow or Sunday, I think she's on Sunday. I remember last time she said, play with it. Like, go and play with the software before you even buy the machine.
Yeah.
Play with it. Take an SVG file like you have. Play with it and then make a decision. Because I think you get free software trials, right?
You do. Silhouettes, their basic software is free. And I'm not sure about Crickets, but Silhouette Studio, their basic software is free.
Yeah. And I think that's a really solid piece of advice because even as somebody who's technical, some pieces of software just don't work the way my brain works. Yeah. And so it's finding the one that works with you. So if you're thinking about a cutting machine, test out the software first before you buy it.
Yeah, for sure.
There were score lines on Karina's card base, but the fringe should be cut lines. Okay. And this one is, because I can't read it, electrostats allow you to cut thinner material, like tissue paper. Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Without tearing when trying to remove it from the sticky mat instead of sticking area.
Okay.
There you go. So great.
Tissue paper, like that is thin.
No, that's
interesting, actually.
That's awesome.
And that's that thought that goes into all of these products that people are doing and creating and doing that. So if people want to follow Karina, all of her links are in her page. So whichever she has, does she a YouTube video or what are all her links?
She has everything. So CarinaGardner.com is her main webpage. So that's the easiest place, but she has a blog. She has a podcast, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. She's everywhere. So, but CarinaGardner.com, that's probably the easiest place to find.
What's her podcast on?
It's called the Make and Design Podcast, and she just interviews lots of creative people. And in fact, Tracy, I know she would love to have you on her podcast. We talked about that. We're like, let's wait till this is over. But I know that Tracy, she would love to have you on her podcast. But she interviews. She'll just talk about her creativity or where she learned things, and then she also does some interviews. So it's kind of a mix of
awesome. I had a podcast for a while, and it can be a crazy job, so I got rid of my podcast. But I'm intrigued to go back to one. But Tracy and I'll co-host a podcast.
Yes, or maybe both of you should go on. Yeah, she would love to have you guys on.
Tracy always loves it when I introduce a new idea. She goes,
well, it's because they're all tech related.
Yes. That's why you have Heather. You have Heather to help you with that.
Honestly, Tracy, if we did a podcast, all you have to do is talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you see how quiet I am? I just throw a comment here and there.
Yeah.
Right?
Quiet is not a word I would use. This one was, I have the circuit and scan and cut. I use the Cricut to create projects and print just cut sentiments and images. I need cards. I use my scan and cut used for die cuts and stamping images I don't have for dies. So they each have a different person.
Awesome. That's great.
And Pam is one of our other presenters.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even look at the name, Pam.
It's
so Pam knows both of those software, the Cricut software and the Brothers Scan and Cut, because they're probably a little bit different.
Yeah, but it's not everybody can afford each machine. So that was the advice Michelle gave. It's don't choose the machine. Choose what you want to do with it. Yeah. As another one, because someone else said, how do you start with? So this might be a good question for you to get a different answer. What if somebody's just starting with their machine? What should they start with?
I think vinyl is the easiest to start with. I think it cuts really easy, and at least with Silhouette, you don't even need a mat. You don't even have to have a mat to cut vinyl. So that's where I started when I started with Silhouette. It was my first cutting machine when I first started with Silhouette. So to not have to worry about the mat right away. Because, when you get the mat, then it's like, okay, where do I load it? And where do I put my material? And where do So just putting the vinyl in and cutting something was easy. But paper's easy too. Like it is to do like a paper crafting project, like a card. I think cards are an awesome way to start. And who doesn't love a handmade card? And you can just you can make really amazing cards with just cutting a few pieces, just adding a few different colors and pieces onto a card. So I think that's a good place to start too.
True.
Susan just saw Karina's book cover design and said, what a gorgeous thing.
Yeah.
Michelle said earlier, she said, start cutting with sentiments because it's something that, but sentiments and vinyl would be good. There you go.
Yes. Vinyl. Yeah. Vinyl yes. Cause and then you can add them to anything. You can add vinyl to, I mean, there's hundreds of different places that you can add vinyl.
I like Pam. She started with the vinyl because I make card decals. That's reason why he bought it for her.
Nice.
Find out a way to get it.
Yes, you kind of.
That's a great idea. What can I make for my husband so he'll buy me this machine? I love it, Pam.
Good.
Well, Catherine, who was on yesterday, her and her husband loved kind of offbeat T-shirts, and that's how she bought it because they were spending a ton of money on T-shirts. So she bought it so she could make T-shirts for her and husband and her family. She doesn't make them for anybody else, but she bought them to make these kind of quirky T-shirts because they were spending so much money on quirky T-shirts. So the same kind of idea, and her husband loved it. So yes, there's another reason as well.
Yeah, so. And a great way to personalize anything. I mean, you can cut, HTV or vinyl and put it on. I mean, anything you want to personalize. It's a great way to customize and personalize something.
That's cool. Well,
maybe you should do a class on that.
See,
now you got me thinking. Get you back.
We're always thinking of the next one.
Yes, yeah.
We also have, we do have our circle. So part of the summit that we're promoting is we have a membership circle, and if someone wants to join it, we bring in experts like Sarah, like other ones, just once a month to do a workshop, and it's a workshop. It's not a pre-recorded demo. It's actually a workshop. It's your ability to interact and talk with them. And so you never know because we have different topics. We jump all over the place. And in the circle, we also have a challenge per month. So these always prompt ideas for us for challenges. Like this week's challenge, this month's challenge is paper and petals using your stencils. And so figuring out people who don't have stencils, some are like, well, you can print your own stencil.
Yeah.
And doing that. So this month's is stencils. And we have our speaker coming in who's going to be talking about stencils and using stencils and how to use them. Last month was using Lisa's inks, Lisa Horton's.
Interference inks.
I can never say the name, so that's why my interference inks. There you go. Lisa's interference inks.
Nice.
So if you're interested in joining the circle, come and we craft at least once a week together. Cool. So there's that crafting time together, and people really enjoy the actual getting together. And half the time I decided as an outside observer, half the time the ladies are organizing their supplies, but I think that's just part of what you like to do.
Yes.
So part of it's organizing in that. So you never know, we might come back and ask you to be a guest on that too, because we have different speakers once a month. And it's a great place to get to know people. And if you are in the VIP, you get a month free of the circle, and then you can join at 20% off for your full membership. If you're not a VIP and you want to join the circle, you get 15% off. So.
Okay. Well, then that's a reason to buy the VIP, to get a month free and try it out. Yeah, that's worth it right there.
Exactly. There's a lot of really good stuff in the VIP. So does the platform work on Android or tablets? I'm thinking they're talking about Silhouette. Does that work?
Okay. I mean, I haven't worked for Silhouette for a couple of years. They did have an app. Honestly, it wasn't great. Like they had a lot of issues with it. So I don't know if they've improved it or not. I don't know if
it's hard. It's hard to design software for everybody.
It is. Yes.
I mean, we're having that issue right now. People are getting a malware problem. If you're one of them, please reach out. It's got nothing to do with us, right? It really has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
It has to do with things that are changing outside of our control. But it's hard. It's hard to adapt everything. And as people who use the online world to run a summit, people change stuff really fast. If you're on Facebook and if you have people that you love and you're in their Facebook group, they might not be able to broadcast into Facebook groups anymore. They've changed how that happens. So we all do our best, but software changes all the time.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen with a project like Silhouette or Cricut. They put out a new software update and they have problems or it's not working. I used to design software. I used to be in a software. I'm actually an engineer. I don't think I've said that.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
My engineering degree was in software, but more in telephony. So cell phones and telephones. And
okay.
But yeah, you just tweak one little thing in software and it blows the whole thing up.
Yeah.
And that makes it difficult, but it lets you do stuff like design your own things. So there's a beauty to it. It lets us bring 10,000 plus people together. That's what we have registered here to do this summit and to see everybody, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't know what's going to work and when your website's going to go down or when.
Especially when it worked 5 minutes earlier.
I know. Yeah. Yep. You never know.
And that's the reality of it. But it does allow us to bring, thousands of people together. And we're doing, if you are a VIP, come and join us in the crop tonight. I was going to say tomorrow night. It's tonight at 7 p.m. So for the VIPs, there's the opportunity to come to a crop, which is really just an opportunity to get together and gab and craft. Let's really put what a crop is. And we have some of our speakers coming into it. We'll also be doing, if we have enough people, some conversations and breakout rooms. So for VIPs, you can come to that tonight at 7 p.m. So we have lots going on.
Yeah.
Awesome. And our next live is with Tracy, right, Tracy?
Yeah, you're stuck with me.
Yay!
But Tracy has to change her hat and actually be the crafter here and the teacher. We're going to go over Tracy's project at 3 p.m. So in another half an hour, we'll be doing Tracy's. And then we have 2 more today. It's hard to remember. You're kind of going.
Shannon is after, well, at 6.
Shannon next, so we have 1 more.
And then it's the crop for the VIPs. Yes.
So if you have any questions, anything, let us know. Post in the Facebook group. If you decide to make Karina's project, flattery imitation is the biggest. I can't even get that expression.
Form of flattery.
Form of flattery. Thank you.
Yes,
people are starting to post things that they've made, so do that. It's great to share. The speakers love to see, not only that you're doing what they've taught, but to see your interpretation of it, right? Because you're never going to be exactly the same, and that's what's really cool about it. So post things if you're posting them. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Pam will be there tonight. So there's an example of one of our speakers being with us tonight. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Sarah, so much for stepping in for Karina and for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being with you guys. Great conference. You guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank you. And we'll see you guys in a half hour or so. Thanks.
Thank you.